Okay. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So there's some problem with my console. I am unable to log in. Can anyone share their console access if it's possible?
Yes, sir, I will share it to Amit sir, Abhishek sir, and to the right.
Yeah, share it on the chat. Direct to me. Send
Okay, sir. Okay.
direct to me. Okay.
Okay.
सर एक स्मॉल डाउट
हाँ
सर
स्मॉल डॉट हाँ
अब AWS का हम लॉगिन होते ना वो IAM यूजर का पासवर्ड है सेम वही आगे रहे ना अब दिख रहा है ना सर IAM पासवर्ड भी सेम हम आगे रखे तो पासवर्ड ही होता क्या सर
नहीं IAM यूजर अलग है AWS के अकाउंट के अंदर यूजर्स क्रिएट करते हैं ना
तो मैं वो कल प्रैक्टिस किया सर वो पासवर्ड है आगे का मारते हैं तो नहीं आ रहा फिर ये इसका पासवर्ड क्या होता सर
हाँ जो जो जब IAM यूजर क्रिएट करते हैं ना वो टाइम पे आप देना है पासवर्ड कंसोल एक्सेस देना है शायद
हमें
आप
ओके
नहीं दिए होगा कंसोल एक्सेस
अच्छा
नहीं दिए होगा आप इसलिए
वही सर्कल में क्रिएट किए था
हाँ
IAM यूजर का पासवर्ड में तो वही मार रही थी वो तो
हम्म
क्रिएट नहीं हुआ उसलिए थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो गई
ओके
चलो
दिखाता हूँ मैं
थैंक
अभी
यू अच्छा ठीक ठीक
थोड़ा मुझे कंसोल एक्सेस मिलेगा तो वेटिंग पर ऑलराइट वो देने से
Yes,
लेट्स
sir, I
डू
will share in 2 minutes. Please.
yeah so let's do recap all right so this is our S3 bucket okay right what is the first why what is the popularity why it is popular S3 bucket I've told 2 words now why do they use S3 bucket most popular because of high availability and durability it has 11 nines sorry 4 nines and 11 nines of durability okay that's why S3 is the most popular and what is the storage limit in S3
5 TB.
hello
Yeah, 5 TB.
5 TB no storage limit
For object level, sir.
so it is unlimited storage only each object is limited to 5 TB
Each object is limited to 5 GB and
5
unlimited
TB 5 TB
terabyte.
all right okay can you share the code Shivraman all right so then we talked about S3 limitations and then for what is the first property we talked about S3 is versioning okay this is the first this, this is the first property we talked right so what do you mean by versioning guys so why do we use it even if you don't know the definition why do we use it just tell me what you have understood why we use versions okay thank you Shivraman so versioning we use it
If
in sorry
versioning, we used to clone keep the duplicate data. If I by mistakenly delete
correct
so many data, so it will be persist in existed. मतलब कि available रहेगा, it will be available after
to
deleting also.
just say to prevent accidental deletions that's it
Accidental deletion.
to prevent from accidental deletion all right so that is the one versioning we talked and the second one what did we talk? Oh, yeah, there's no bucket only here. Right, what is the second property? So we talked about tags, right? So why do we use tags? It's just for the naming purpose. Okay, so we talked about, if we get into the properties, so we talked about bucket versioning, we talked about tags, and then we talked about encryption. What are the different types of encryption I have told yesterday? There are 3 types of encryption, no? Can you remember it, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
SSEKMS and CMK.
very good.
SSE server side encryption, key
Yeah.
management
I
service,
have shared
and
that ID.
Yeah, I've
Like
already
system.
already
Okay, I have not seen. Okay, fine.
logged in. Thank you,
Okay,
Shriram.
thank you, sir.
Okay, so S3, KMS, and CMK, right? So that means encryption happens in the AWS level, but only the keys will be maintained by these 3. One is S3, that is automatic. Another is KMS. Okay, it is a service in AWS, and then customer managed key. That means we need to take care of this customer keys for encrypting and decrypting. Okay, and that's what we talked. So that also option it has given. And then we talked about server access logging. So what do you mean by server access logging, guys? So it's like your CCTV of your S3 bucket, right? So if anything happens, it will capture. Okay. So then we talked about event notification. So that means, what do you mean by event notification? So if any event happens in your bucket, get any API events, right? Get anyone puts object, gets object, reads object, delete object, right? You will get to know it. How will you get to know it? Event. So what are the 3 destination here in the event notification? It can send to only 3, no? What was that? Lambda,
SNS, and
SQS.
SQS.
Very good. All right. So, and then we talked about transfer acceleration. Okay. So if you want to, transfer the speed of uploading and downloading, you can go with transfer acceleration. Remember, so if you enable, it will give us extra cost. We'll get some endpoint. Okay. You can share that endpoint with your user to make it to upload or download faster. Okay. So what is object lock? When do we use this object lock?
It will cannot government in government sector. It will
Yes.
be I want to delete it. So in that
Yeah.
situation,
Whenever the object in S3 bucket, you don't have to delete. In that case, we'll go for object lock. It will be permanently stored. Okay. So that is an object lock. And then you guys know about request to pay. And then static website hosting. Anyway, there's no time now. If I'll ask you one other day. Okay. To host the website through. You guys have understood, right? How to host a website.
yeah.
All right. So then we talked about permissions, right? So what are the 3 layers I told in S3 permissions? So if it's your S3, what is the first layer is? It is your block public access, right? Block all the public access on or off, right? And then comes your bucket, right? This one. This one more layer of permission, that is your bucket policy, right? And then comes one more layer to your object, that is your object ACL. What do you mean by object ACL? That means at the object level, you can decide for whom to give write permission, for whom to give delete permission. Okay, only these 3 permissions, guys. Please remember, these are very important in S3. Okay, sometimes when you're working, we get this. Okay, so what people will do, no, people who are new to AWS, they'll just remove this. They'll say all block public access on. Okay, I mean they'll off it. They'll remove this boundary and they'll say we are unable to access S3 bucket. they'll come up with. So we need to analyze it. We need to check and we need to analyze, and then we need to provide them bucket policy. If you're working in AWS, you will get to know these issues. These are real time. Okay. So please be aware of these three main permissions. All right. So this is what we have discussed right yesterday. Right. Let's continue and we have to finish our S3 today. We have still a lot to cover here in this S3. S3 is one of the important topic. All right. Okay, you guys are aware of all these things. Now we have something called cross origin resource sharing. Okay, so what is this? Cross origin resource sharing. Okay, to explain you that, okay, so let me explain you with simple example. Let's say this is your government office. Okay, this is your government office. Okay, so now you go for some registration or for some kind of work. Okay, when you go for the work, there are a lot of internal offices, right, in the government building, right? There will be a lot of internal offices. All right, so now for some work, you will visit to office. Okay, you will visit to office for some work. Okay, for some registration, for some documentation, you will go here. Okay, so you have this document, but what this government people does it? Okay, so this documentation work will not be happen only from one guy. So you want details. Okay, if you want your work to be completed, if your documentation to be completed, you need to take sign from everyone, right? You need to take sign from here and then come back. You should take again take approval from here, and then afterwards your documentation, your whatever your government work will be completed, right? This is how it happens, right, in real time. If you go to any government bank, government sector, right, guys, are you following?
Yes. Yeah. When
Okay.
you go municipality, if you want to some permission, you need
Yeah,
to
so
take
they'll
up
say,
sign of 10, more than 10 people.
yeah, they'll say go take permission from here first. They'll say first go and take from here as well. And then so you have to fetch data from everywhere. Okay, even though you have entered to main office, right? You want to take, you have fetch details from all the small, right? So course works in similar way, guys, cross origin resource sharing. Okay, so how it works is it works on your browser level. Let me show you the slides. Okay, if you see what is cross, it's a cross origin resource sharing. So your origin is nothing but your, what do you mean by origin? If they ask, your origin is your protocol, this HTTPS plus your domain www.example.com plus port. Okay, this we call it as our origin. Okay, now so it is called as web browser based mechanism to allow requests to other origins while visiting the main origin. Okay, so here I'll explain you if you see here. Okay, so basically what they're saying is, okay, this is your Chrome, or this is your Chrome or your Microsoft Edge. Okay, this could be your website. Okay, so if anyone people, okay, if any people coming through Chrome, right, if your users, okay, if any of your users coming through Chrome or Microsoft Edge, okay, when they come here, right, so here in your AWS account you have two S3 buckets. Okay, so what you will do here, you will store only images. Okay, here you will store only images, and here you will store only videos. Now user will come with a request that his request might be he might require one image, one video. He might require one image and video. So when the user comes with the request with both the domains, okay, what it will the call, if you have enabled the course, okay, first it will go here. Okay, first your main origin, it will go here, it will check the image and it will ask for the videos. Okay, as soon as the request gets the video request, so this main origin, it will understand, okay, it is asking from my another bucket. Okay, it will send that details of another bucket. Again, that request will go to your second bucket, right? It will say, I want videos, right? I want videos from your user. So it will verify, this S3 bucket will verify from where it has come. Okay, it will see that it has come from the main origin, and then it will share the video, and from there you will send back to your user. Okay, if you see this diagram, okay, this is your web browser. It could be your Google Chrome or Microsoft, only these two. Okay, so now if you see here, first thing they'll make a HTTPS request. Okay, any user. So whenever they make HTTPS request, first it will come to your main origin. Okay, let's say if your example.com is your main origin, mean your main bucket. So first it will come here. So here all the data will not be there. Few data will be in your another origin. That is why we call it as cross origin. So what this web server will do, okay, it will send to this web browser. See, I have only 50% details. Another 50% is with another origin. Please take it with him. How will you take? It will send some details. See, so it will send the details here. So it will show host. It is coming from. It will show that origin www.exam and host is www. As soon as it goes, it verifies. Okay, how it verifies? It will see whether from the control it's coming, get put delete request, whether does it have all this request. Okay, all thing happens on pre-flight request. Okay, it will automatically happens in the background. So once this is verified, okay, once this URL and everything is verified, okay, this will verify, then it will give the data to your web browser, and here this web browser will take data from here, will take data from here, and then they will give it to the user. Remember, this happens on the browser level. Okay, that's why they have mentioned web browser based mechanism. Okay, this is very bit complicated. People are not using it, but if you know, if you understand it and if you explain in the interview, definitely it is a game changer. Any doubt? It's a bit complicated. You will not understand at the first level. You need to read it twice and twice. Did you guys understood how it works? Cross origin resource sharing. It works on Chrome and Microsoft only, Microsoft Edge browsers only. So as soon as any request come, right? Same your government office. What you will do? First, you will go to one small office. They will say, okay, my work is done. You go to another office, take his sign, and then you will go and you will tell, sir, this guy has sent me here. This guy will ask, who has sent me? What is the proof? You will show this see from origin. Okay, and then it will verify. Okay, he has sent me. All right, take the details, and then go back. This is how it works. Is it clear, guys? Shivraman, Muntaz, Gajanan, Sumit.
Yeah, clear.
Okay.
Yes,
So understand in this level how it works. So explain in the same way. Okay. How do you enable it? Just a simple code. Okay. Not code, just a scripting. Okay. If you want to enable it, just click on edit. You click on learn more. Here you will get some sample scripts. You just have to copy and paste it. Okay, so I don't think people are using this. This is very one of the good options, but people are still not using it. So everything is there in your console. If you see, you just have to see allow headers, put, post, delete. right? We just have to copy this and paste it here. That's it. Very simple to use. All right. So that's about cores, guys. Now we have done with properties. You are done with permissions. Now you are good to go with these two tabs. If I ask you any question on these two questions, these two tabs, you should be able to answer. Okay. Now let's get into metrics. So here, so metrics is nothing but just to see your usage and all. No? Okay. Here you won't get anything. Here, main thing is your storage class analysis. Okay. That means now let me see, I'll upload a file here in this bucket. If you upload any bucket here, any file, okay. So as soon as I uploaded file, so all these details you know, but what do you mean by this storage class? What is this standard? What all other options we have? Why it is showing? Okay. If you go to this option actions, you have edit storage class as well. Okay, what is this storage class? What are the different types of storage class? That we'll understand it now. Okay, this is very important if you guys are taking exam. Okay, all right, let's focus for AWS S3 storage classes introduction. Okay, we have different kinds of data can be stored in Amazon S3, right? So we have media files, we have application packages, you have backup of your database, right? And you might get some long-term archives. You have lot all these types you can store in S3. Okay, so based on this, your data type, right, you can make a variations in access pattern. That means what they're saying is, okay, if this is your S3 bucket, right, you can make variations like how is it a frequent access, right? Every day are you accessing this object, or frequently or infrequently you're accessing this object, or you're accessing only once in a year, or you are accessing or rarely like 5 years once, or you are accessing this object 2 weeks once, or you are accessing this object every day, right? We have these type of variations in accessing, right? Depending upon these variations, S3 has given you something called storage classes. Okay, so why do we have storage classes? It's because of this. So in order to see the access pattern, okay, based on access pattern we have storage classes, right? So it is designed for durability of 11 nines. Let's see which are those. It's very simple, very simple. Okay, very easy to remember. Please focus it here, right? So one is standard. Okay, this costing is also as per the priority, guys. So with which is the storage class which is in first one, it is the costlier. Second one is bit cheaper. Third one is bit cheaper. Fourth one is even more cheaper. Glacier is even more cheaper. All right. So first let's focus on standard. What is standard? So standard is frequently accessed data. Okay. So now whatever we have created, no, so I've just uploaded one my file. So I'm frequently accessing it. That's why it is in standard. Okay. So whenever I want, I can open it, right? Whenever I want, I can open it and I can download it. See, immediately I'm downloading, immediately I'm getting these files. You will get it within seconds, right? So frequently access pattern of data, we'll put it in standard class. And please note, this will be spanned across more than 3 availability zone. That means your data, right? Now this object, it is stored in more than 3 availability zone. I mean background, it will be stored, right? You can't lose this data at all. Yes, Shivraman, you want to ask something?
No, sir, no.
All right.
My website has been.
Okay. You're listening, right, Shivraman?
Yes, sir, I'm listening.
All right. Yeah, since you're in office, I'm not asking you a question. Okay. So first one is standard class. Is it clear, guys? Standard class for frequently accessed data.
Frequently accessed data.
Yes, it's very clear, right? For testing, for our day-to-day activities, we'll use standard. Remember, it is the costlier one. Then comes standard infrequent access. So this is something like, it is a long-lived but infrequent access data. Something like you'll use it for like backup of your disaster recovery, right? You will put, we'll use standard infrequent where you have your backup of your databases, right? So will you access it every day, your backups? No, right? When do you access? Only when, if anything happens.
Weekly one or monthly one.
Exactly. So that is infrequent. You are not accessing it daily, right? So that we call it as standard infrequent. So if you select the standard infrequent, for you, it will cost a bit lesser. Okay. Remember, this also store in more than 3 availability zone. All right. And then comes your one zone infrequent access. Okay. So here what happens, AWS will say, if your data is not much important, right? If your data is not much important and you infrequently access, right? So it's, then you can select one zone infrequent access storage class. So here you remember, please focus here. It will store only in one availability zone. If anything happens in that availability zone, if that goes down, your data will also go down. There will be no backup of it. Okay. So this is one zone infrequent access. So remember, this is used only for non-critical data, which is easily recreatable. Only if you have those kind of data, you can put it in one zone infrequent access. All right. So after this, or I'll leave this intelligent tiring, I'll tell you. Then we have Glacier and Glacier Deep Archive. Okay, so what do you mean by Glacier is, it is a archive data with retrieval times ranging from minutes to hours. So now, as I told you, you have, if there's a hospital, right? If it's a hospital, if it's a banking sector, they need to store huge data from many years, right? So if government comes and asks, okay, give me this patient name of 2011, 2020, they need to store it. They cannot delete it, right? So those kind of data, we call it as archival data. So those are very rarely accessed, right? Very rarely accessed. So for those kind of archival data, AWS has given something called Glacier. But remember, if you want to download data from Glacier, it takes minutes to hours. It is not like this. In the standard, I just clicked download, it has downloaded. But in Glacier, it is not like that. It will take from minutes to hours to download. All right. So what is Glacier Deep Archive?
It will take more time. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
yes,
it will take more time. Yeah, more time to download. If you want your data that you want, it is infrequently accessed, but you want to download it immediately, then which one you'll go?
Standard.
Standard infrequent. Standard is only for frequently accessed data. All right. So one is Glacier. Glacier is clear, right? So it is archival data with retrieval times ranging from minutes to hours. Then what is Deep Archive? So archive data that rarely, if ever, needs to be accessed with retrieval times in hours. Okay. This is again one layer down. Okay. It is like you'll use it like 5 years once, 10 years once, very rarely use. They'll put it in vaults. Okay. Can you see your long-lived archive data less than once a year with a retrieval of hours? There's no minutes at all here. Okay. So this Glacier, now they are calling it as Glacier Flexible. Okay, this is minutes to hour. If you want, you can take it in minutes as well, but it will cost you more. Okay, but then you can say, see, if you are accessing only later layer infrequently, I can go with standard infrequent access only. No, why I'm going with Glacier Deep? Why have we have to select Glacier? You should ask me this question actually. Why AWS is giving that is, if you see here, see in the standard, there's a minimum billable object size. If you see this here, there's a minimum billable object size, but in the Glacier, there's no such things. Since these are archival data, they will not bill you for that. They'll cost you only for per GB. Are you able to see here? All these different storage class, they will cost you from billable from minimum from 128 KB. But only Glacier, they will not charge you because it's archival data. As soon as you select Glacier, okay, S3 will understand. They will not access this data. They will rarely access this. So why do we have to bill for them? Okay, they'll not bill you for minimum. They'll only bill per GB based. Is this clear, guys? This is very important storage class.
Yes.
Mumtaz, Sumit, Shivraman, clear, right? Others?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you have to change, whenever you want to change, just click on this object, right? Actions, edit storage class. Okay. So now there's one more left. Now, what is that is intelligent tiering. What is this intelligent tiering is? It is a AI based. Okay. So if you enable this intelligent tiering, so when you will enable is when you don't know your access pattern. Okay. Let's say, uh, this S3 bucket is your new project S3 bucket. You don't know the object which you store in S3, whether it is a frequently accessed or whether it is infrequently accessed or it is a archival data. You don't know. If you don't know, you will leave it to the AI. That is intelligent tiering. What is intelligent tiering means? Once if you enable it for I think for 7 days or I don't know for how many days, it will be observing your pattern. How users will access to S3. It will observe. Okay, based on your access pattern, it will automatically select storage class. Okay, whether it's a standard infrequent, okay, or whether it is a Glacier or one zone, whatever it is, it will select automatically. You will only be charged for that. All right. So costing wise, if they ask, so which is the highest one, costlier one?
Standard.
Exactly, standard. Okay, Glacier and Glacier Deep Archive is lesser. So if they ask in interview, so standard infrequent access is it's costing lesser for me. So if any archival data, I can go with standard infrequent only. Why they have option? Why they are giving? Why do I have to go with Glacier Deep Archive? What you will say?
More than it will use rare case one time in the year, so that's it will.
For standard infrequent also, it is one time. You can make it one time in a year. Then why
Charge is
they're
low. Charge is low because it will
no,
take more time to download.
no, charges is low. So here in standard, there's a minimum billable object, right? Just now I showed, right?
Yeah.
They have minimum billable 128 KB. If you're storing from more than 128 KB, their billing starts. But in Glacier, it is not. There's no minimum. They'll only charge out for the per GB fees.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that too only if you retrieve it. If you see, this is the retrieval fee. If you store data and if you don't retrieve at all, then it is not charging. All right. So that's how storage class. Please remember this storage classes. Okay. So they will ask in exam. The exam to for sure you will get. I don't know about the interview. If the panel
इंटरव्यू
is
में एक बार मेरे से पूछा था सर व्हाट इज टाइप ऑफ स्टोरेज.
अच्छा ओके तो वही पैनल को मालूम रहेगा तो ये पूरा पूछेगा.
हाँ
अगर
हाँ
मैं आपका इंटरव्यू पैनल रहेगा तो फॉर श्योर पूछेगा। ये तो इम्पोर्टेंट है। ऑल राइट, ओके। तो ये गो थ्रू कीजिए, मैं ये स्लाइड जब शेयर करता हूँ ना, please, these are very important slides guys. I have taken it from all over. I have selected the best of best. I have selected the best of best and I have created these slides. If you go through my slides, it will help you in the exam as well as the interview. I have prepared in that way. Please make use of it. All right, so please go through. If you want to read more about on availability, replications, right, per GB cost, encryption and all, please go through this comparison table. Right, so let's go to our bucket. So properties is clear, permission is clear, okay, and then storage class is clear. So in metrics it's nothing, okay, it's just how data is stored. It just show the graphs. Okay, this is the storage class analysis. Okay, so it will analyze your storage access patterns to help you decide when to transition objects. Okay, this is something we don't use it. Okay, then in the management, it's very important here. This two. Okay, these two are very important, guys. Okay, what is lifecycle rules? Okay, so what do you mean by lifecycle? So why they have given this option? Use lifecycle rules to define actions you want Amazon S3 to take during an object's lifetime, such as transitioning objects into another storage class. That means it's very simple. Don't get confused. Okay, now this is your S3 bucket, right? Now, so you have stored a lot of files in your S3 bucket. So now you have stored this object in a standard class initially. Okay, let's say this is your first pre-go live bucket. Okay, this is your pre-go live bucket. At the initial stage, developers will be using, excuse me. So at the initial stage, developers will be using these files a lot. Okay, so after project go lives, after 1 year, after 2 year, developers won't use these files, right? Rarely they'll use. Why? Because project is running successfully, they'll not touch it. So in that case, instead of keeping the object say in the standard, it will cost you more, right? It will if you want to retrieve data,
more
and it will cost you more. So whenever you are not using, automatically, whenever the people is not using, nobody is accessing it, automatically this will move standard to standard infrequent access. And then it will see whether for many days, even then they are not using, they are not retrieving, it will automatically move to one zone. And then even then people are not using it, it's been years, they are not using, they are not downloading anything, it will move to Glacier, and then Glacier deeper. Okay, you can set up this rule. Okay, automatically S3 will send, you don't have to manage it. If this is not there, remember, any one guy want to come, he need to open the data, he need to check how many times they have downloaded. So you don't have to do that manual work. S3 will does it. How? By lifecycle rules.
lifecycle.
Okay, so if you create lifecycle rules, okay, and just demo something, enter. And this. Okay, so here if you see lifecycle rule actions, move current versions of object between storage class. See, here you can mention the transition. So what you can say here, now your S3 bucket, no, it has standard class. You're telling here, move it to standard infrequent access after how many days? Minimum is 30 days, guys. You can give 60 days and then add transition. So now if you want, you can move it to one zone. After how many days? After 180 days. And then again, right? And then move it to Glacier. After how many days? After 250 days. So if you apply this, now if you go and create rule, it will apply to this S3 bucket. So after these many days, automatically your storage classes will move and it will save your costing. That is why they call it as lifecycle rule configuration. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This lifecycle rule is important one. They will ask you question. Next. So this is something called replication. Okay. Use replication rule to define options you want Amazon S3 to apply during replication, such as server-side encryption. So it's basically you are creating a rule for replication. So replication means you're copying this bucket into another region. Okay. So if you want to copy this same bucket, okay, into another region or different account. Now let's say this cloud share is a dev account, right? Test account also want a similar bucket. So you can just create a replication rule and you can give some details, right? So if you want to, what is the source bucket? Okay, source details and give the destination bucket. If you do that, so whatever objects you put here, right, in this demo is 23 bucket, and whatever the destination bucket you give, no, both it will be synced. You get it right? What I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
two different zones, same data will be captured.
yes. So let's say if this is your dev account bucket, okay, this is your source bucket, and if this is your destination bucket. So once you enable replication, right? Any pair, now if you put 10 files here in dev, same 10 files will be there in dev as well. If you upload 20 files, same files will be available in this as well in destination bucket. Okay, this is what we call it as replication. Please remember this, we will allow in real time. I'm saying in real time we will allow only for the same accounts. If they are making replication, you can do with another external AWS account, but as a security engineer, as a cloud security, we will definitely not allow it. And also we will not allow from prod to dev. Suppose let's say if this is your prod account, prod bucket, and if this is your dev bucket, this also will not allow. Only dev to testing, okay, non-prod to non-prod, only that will allow. This will make your work even more easier, guys, right? Dev and test need the same objects. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the management life cycle is clear, replication is clear. Okay, so this is something new one. Okay, we are not working on this much. Okay, if you want, you can just go and read it if you have free time. But we are not using this much. We have life cycle rules and replication rules. Yeah. Then the last important is one of the important features of bucket is access points. What is this access point? Why they have given this? Okay, I'll tell you in a simple, I'll give you a simple example and explain so that it will be easier for you guys to remember. Okay, so let's say this is your prod account, main account, and here you have S3 bucket. In this prod AWS account, you have S3 bucket, right? Main data, all important data is stored in your prod S3 bucket. Okay, so similarly, you have other accounts. Okay, other, so that is your sales account, HR account, HR people, your finance team, right? You have dev team, right? You have a lot of teams. Okay, now let's say sales team, he only wants what? He only wants read access. Okay, and finance team, he might need put access. Okay, he needs to put some financial decision from finance. He need put access. Okay, and he needs read access. Sales read only. Okay, and HR people, he need list access, right? And dev, they also need put access. The dev people need even more, right? They need put read the. Now let's say if you want to configure all those things on S3, you can, how do you allow these permissions? First, you will remove that block public access, and then you will remove that, you will give policy in bucket policy. If you want to give all those things, what happens, you know, you need to create bucket policy. You need to write lot of code. Allow from sales department, give read, right? From HR, give list. So you need to write code, and this code will go longer. Remember, there's a limitation for bucket policy. Okay, I think it is 28 KB, I guess. I'll tell you this exact number. So more than this, your this code is there, no bucket policy, it should not go. Right. So in order to avoid this complications, okay, in order to avoid this complication, what AWS has given is given one option called access points. No, access points.
Access point, like
So what,
like VLAN.
not VLAN. So it is a access point means you can give permission on VPC level. That means, okay, if sales team has VPC, right? So this sales team has VPC and HR team has their own VPC. These are AWS accounts, right? So they will create their own VPC. So you can limit access based on VPC level. I'll show you here.
Instead of global, I see.
Instead of giving individual access, individually giving this, you can block or give access based on your VPC level.
Normally it will be global, like this.
What?
Normally S3 will be global.
No, I'm not talking about global or region. What I'm talking about is accounts, right? Who can access your S3 bucket, right? Who all can access your S3 bucket? So if you remove this, so who all right now in all my demo, since I'm the owner, I'm unable to do it. Now from your account, can you download this bucket? Can Gajanan download anything from this bucket? No, he doesn't have permission. Only Shivraman is owner, so he can do it. Now you need to give permissions to other teams in your account, right? So if you are working in real time, there's a lot of teams, they might need to read the object from your bucket, right? If you want to write, if you write a code in a bucket policy, it will go longer, very longer. So you can limit them on VPC level. That means, right, using access points for sales team, you can give only this. For HR team, for HR VPC, you can only give this. I'll show you that. Okay, see if you see your access point name, just give demo. Can you see your network origin from VPC? Can you see your VPC?
Yeah, VPC level.
Yeah, VPC level, and then give you your, if you're limiting to your sales. Okay, now let's say as per this diagram, this sales team only want read access, right? So in that case, give your sales team VPC ID. Give that VPC ID, and here give policy only for that sales team. Give bucket policy, give read object, get object. Are you getting my point?
Yes. Limited coding we will do here.
Exactly. Very good. So we'll do the limited coding. But same way, if you go and write, if there's no access point, if you go and write, you need to write code for each option, for each accounts. So that coding, that line will go very long. Now you're limiting it based on your VPC. That's the power of access points. Okay, people are not using this. I've seen still people are not using this. They're not much of, but if you guys get to work with S3 bucket, please use this option. Okay, so this will limit your monitoring work, right? It will make your work easy, and you can see with a higher level overview that for whom all you are given access and all. All right, so if I get into this, okay, so this is the diagram which I'm saying. Can you guys see it here? So if this is your prod bucket, right? And if you have a sales team, finance team, sales team, analytics team. So if you see this finance team, they want a read and write option. Only for that finance team, you can create access point, right? I can give. And sales team, they again want a read, write to sales purpose, and you can create that policy and give. And analytics team, they only want a read. For them, create one access point and give. so that it will be very simple bucket policy. Is this clear, guys? This is how it works. Okay, through it will make use of VPC endpoint. It will let go it. Okay, so when it comes to the costing, please remember these points. Okay, free of cost. Data transfer into what all free in S3. Data which you transfer to S3 is free. Data if you transfer from S3 to CloudFront is free. Okay, and if you transfer your data from S3 to services in the same region, let's say if you transfer your data from S3 to your database, which is in the same region, then it is free. These are the free thing. Rest all it will cost you. All right. Any doubt here? So here I have given the scenarios. Okay. So how they will ask in interview, I have given the scenario. Just go through it. Okay. Now let's say if they ask in interview, I want to protect my objects against accidental deletion. What you will say? Solution? Use version. Versioning. No. Object lock. It's not like accidental deletion. Permanently, to avoid permanent deletion. Okay, if you want to avoid permanently deleting the object, then you'll go with object lock. Okay. So if they ask questions like, if you want avoid protect from changing versioning, okay, use MFA. Okay, and if they ask if I want to enable cross domain request to S3, right? I have objects in 2-3 domains. Then what you will do? You can go with course, right? So like this, I have made scenarios on the cost as well. Okay, if they ask you as a cloud engineer, give me best suggestion to reduce my cost in S3. So you should, right? Yeah, you should explain them your proper storage classes. Explain them about storage class and lifecycle management. All right, like this, I have made scenarios. Please go through it. Okay, this is all theory. That's why I'm not explain. I've already explained in this session. So main thing is I have covered your S3 bucket completely. So if any question they ask you here, you should be able to answer. If you have attended my course, if you have understood, right? So objects is nothing but you'll upload and download. And then coming to the properties, versioning is clear, tags is clear, encryption is clear, server access logging is clear, event notification is clear, right? Transfer acceleration is clear, object lock is clear, requester pay is clear, static website hosting, how to host a website, right? That also I've shown. And permissions, you have 3 types of permission. What is that? One is block public access, bucket policy, and object ACL. These 3 are main, right? And then we talked about cross origin resource sharing, that is CORS. This tab also I've done it. Metrics also I've shown, like it's just a graph. Then the main management, lifecycle rules and replication rules. What is lifecycle rules? When do we use it? That I've explained now. Replication rules. What happens if you create this replication rule, right? That also I've shown. And when do we use this replication route and when not to? That also I've explained. And then main thing is access point. What is access point? When do we use access point? All this is clear, right, guys? This is what we call it as a deep dive. Okay, now in S3, if I give you any question, you should be able to answer, you should be able to do it. Right, if there's any doubt, let me know in the next class. So in next class, let's start serverless model. We'll talk about serverless, Lambda and all will touch it. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay, please read, be prepared and come. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, see you tomorrow then.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.